What's going on? You guys are tuned in to your idol. You're here with the greatest. So this right here is a new painting that I did. It's a dispensary scene. You can see Scrooge McDuck. He's copping some weight. You got Mr. Burns serving it up. Sinister Monopoly serving up some bud. Anyhow, so I got some comments. I got some messages. People kind of saying they wanted to hear some stories about, what led to my incarceration, or just some old stories I've had through my experiences in the cannabis industry. And so I thought I'd, make this video and we'll give it a shot. And if you guys like it, throw me a comment, the usual shit, subscribe, like. That will only make me want to give more of these videos. And so support, let people know, share it. So anyhow, today's story that I'm going to tell you about is when I was already under pretty significant amount of surveillance by the FBI. It was probably about 2010. This particular story starts off as I was kind of already hot, so to speak, and I kind of already knew that there was things going on in regards to what I was doing with flying cannabis throughout America. So at the time I was living in Atlanta, Georgia, and I had a dude that was kind of like a guy that would do things for me if I wanted him to go get a house in his name for me, go buy me a boat in his name, and hit up this person, get me a flight here, a flight there. And so he was, but he would also move, Kush as well. So he kept hitting me up, and he had brought this guy around me, and he kept referring to him as his uncle, because I oftentimes told him I don't want, to meet new people, and I don't want people around. That's a key note for you guys out there still doing it. Don't meet new people. Why, if you're working with this dude up the street, does he need to bring somebody new? You know what I mean? You could still work with him. If he wants to meet new people, that's on him. So anyhow, he kept pushing the issue, and he eventually started bringing this uncle dude around, and the uncle would claim that, his wife worked at a law firm, and they could pull paperwork on people, who maybe had issues with the law, and I could check on things. And he started also running errands and doing things for me and showing up at my house to when I needed things done. So anyhow, these two guys, they started proposing that they wanted me to meet a new contact to do business with. I told the one guy, not the uncle dude, I told him, listen, I don't want to meet anybody. If you want to do more business, like let's say if he's taking 100 pounds a week, then I'll give you 200 pounds a week. Whatever it is you want to do more, I don't need to meet your people. So, as I would tell him that, he kept saying, oh, this dude's cool, he's on your level, he's your kind of dude. And then they kept using the stupid word cartel and all this dumb shit, right? And so for the longest time, I was like, no. And then they came at me on the premise of, well, in their mind, they probably thought, well, let's just invite him to a party. And that's one way to get him to, open up or come out. So they kept asking me if I wanted to come to Miami, Florida. And again, at this time, I'm in Atlanta. And these two dudes are also in Atlanta, in my inner circle, running business for me. The one dude would see my pilot when the pilot came into town, pick up the work, shoot it out. Anyways, he's like, hey, this dude that I want to introduce you to, he's having a party in Miami for all of his clients that he does business for. He has a party for them once a year, and it's going to be cool. We should go. I told him, nah, dude, I'm not going, So then they just kept pushing it and finally just said, let's just go out to Miami and have some fun. Well, and I thought, all right, I'll get out of get out of Atlanta and head over to Miami for a little while. So at this time, because I was kind of hot, I would either just take a private jet, or sometimes I would just wheel it what I call wheeling it in a car to neighboring states, that are just a couple hours between each other, rather than what I didn't want to do is, be flagged by the government as getting on a commercial plane and flying from X to Z, and then possibly that being documented. So on this particular trip, I decided there was a total of 4 players aside myself. So there was 5 people in the mix on this. So me and 2 of those dudes decided to drive down from Atlanta, Georgia to Miami. So there's 3 of us in this particular car. And I want to say it's about a 9-hour drive. The whole time on this 9-hour drive, the one dude who was an actual FBI informant, who we were referring to as Uncle, aka piece of shit, this fucking dude was wearing a wire the whole time in the car. He was in the front seat, or he would maybe switch driving. I stayed in the back the whole trip. Now, I know he was wearing a wire not until after I was arrested and my attorney visits would come, and my attorney would play me compact disc. And on the disc one day I started saying like, well, where is this? And when did this happen? And, and then it was documented that this was in the car on the way to Miami. So anyways, we get to the Miami, and like, I didn't even worry about what hotel, 'cause I didn't book this stuff myself. Oftentimes when I would book my trips to go places, I would have other people do that for me. Anyhow, so I ended up at a hotel, and they kept saying, oh, they're going to take care of it. And I was like, what are you talking about? Like, I'll take care of my own room. You guys don't need to pay for my room. And it just seemed almost like insulting to me. Like, I don't even know this dude. And apparently he's offering to pay for my hotel room. And I don't know, something about it I just didn't vibe with. So I was like, I want my own room, and I want, like a suite, or whatever the case was. So the 3 of us checked in. I think there was the other dude was either there or came later. So at this point, there's 5 of us. I have my own hotel room. It's a big suite. These dudes had their own rooms. So I want to say it was probably like a Friday night. This is what happened. So the FBI set up and orchestrated a fake party in Miami, and so they picked myself and the 4 other dudes, 5 of us up in a limousine. We get in a limousine, and this limousine's like doing fucking circles, and I'm starting to notice like it's doing circles, like it's not going to one destination. It's like looping around. And the reason why, eventually I found out that apparently they weren't ready at the party, right? So we get to the party, and in the driveway, of course, I can't remember if it was either a Bentley or a Rolls Royce, but it was like one of those cars. I'm thinking it was more along the lines of a Bentley. So then we go there, and you could see kind of through like the glass in the back of the house that the ocean, was on the back of the house. So it had a swimming pool, and then it was the ocean. And so on the ocean part of the property, there was like, they kept referring to it as a $5 million yacht, like docked up on the actual property of the house. So anyways, we go in, and as most house parties they start off in kind of like the hub of the kitchen, where people kind of meet and they get drinks and stuff like that, right? So I'm in the kitchen, and all of these lames come walking up to me, and I could tell they didn't have swag. It's kind of like, those dope dealers, that we have a swag about us, and these dudes were straight up fucking cornballs, like some dude's parents or something, right? Anyhow, these kooks fucking start coming up to me one by one, like, hey, what's up? What's your name? Where are you from? And as I would tell them, hey, Manhattan Beach, California, then they all started saying they were from areas that I used to drop, that I not used to, but was dropping bud in. One dude rolls up, oh, I'm from Detroit. Another dude rolls up, I'm from Las Vegas. Another dude rolls up, like, I don't know where the fuck he said. Anyhow, there was like 3 or 4 of them, and they were all locations that I was out there, had my pilots dropping large amounts of weed in. And so I just thought, like, this is like weird, right? You know, I'm tripping on it a little bit. So as the party kind of proceeds and there's not many people there. There's probably, aside from the 5 people and myself that came, there was probably not even 10 other dudes, right? And then maybe 4 girls, right? Maybe 4 girls. And so at some point, you know, after kind of getting there, they have, you know, the drinks in the kitchens, the little snacks, whatnot. All of a sudden they're like, oh, the girls or something are here. And some belly dancers arrive. And it was like 2 chicks. Everyone went into the living room. And these chicks started to do like, you know, a belly dance show. And I'm like thinking, like, what's going on here? There's like fucking 15 people and a belly dance. Like, okay, like this is all new to me, you know? Normally I'm waiting for the bachelor party for the strippers, right? And instead we got some belly dancers and some fucking lames that, you know, are trying. You can just tell they're trying to be something, you know? Like when undercovers fucking, back in the day, I used to spot them really good. They would wear like a flannel, a fucking goatee, and then it would be a fanny pack, and you already knew that the fanny pack had like a gun and a badge, you know, or the, you know, like whatever. So anyhow, these lame ass party, eventually they go and there's a swimming pool, and in the back they had like, I don't know if it was like catered or they were gonna have food. So they went and set up some food, right? And so everybody kind of ate, and then it got to the point where like the sunset was about to go down. So as you can tell, we kind of arrived at the party a little early. It wasn't like, you know, 10 o'clock at night or anything like that. So as they get, you know, the sunset is approaching, like the main dude is, what's this piece of shit's name, dude? Something with an E. And he was an actual FBI agent. And, man, I wish I fucking remembered his name. Something with an E. Piece of shit. So anyways, he's like, yeah, let's go out on the boat, you know, sunset. So we go, everybody gets on the boat, and they had like a little thing where you could plug in your iPad, not iPad, but your iTunes music or whatever, right? So I remember they were trying to play music, and there was a small area off the back of the boat, and like a couple of the girls were trying to dance, and kind of people were hanging on the back. And I remember one of the other dudes that was in my entourage with me, he was like nestled in the corner all night with like this one chick, like all in her ear. She was right here. And he would never like, you know, roam around and like communicate with anybody or say what's up. So I remember being in the boat at one point, and he's like over there in like the corner talking, and they had like some trail mix, and I start taking the nuts and mix, and I start throwing at him, like just fucking with him to try to get him to, you know, get up or get his attention, you know? And so the whole time he's just over there in this chick's ear, and I'll get back to that because there's a point in why I was saying that. So anyhow, these kooks are dancing around, and, you know, the one guy who was an actual agent, he was like, let's not talk business today. Let's just have fun. We'll talk business later. And I'm thinking, get the fuck out of here, dude. You know, like, miss me, you know what I mean? So anyhow, I'm sitting there, and the 4 dudes that I went with are all black dudes, okay? So I'm the only white dude in my entourage. So these dudes, the most of them that I'm with, they roll up and smoke blunts all the time, all day, every day, right? So I remember going to one of them, the main dude that fucking brought me to that stupid party. And when he brought me to the party, he didn't know that these were all FBI agents, informants. However, the person that he brought in to my entourage, which was known as Uncle, he was the one that knew all of this was taking place. So anyhow, I go to the one dude, and I tell him, these are all cops. These are all cops. And at the time, I didn't really know how to differentiate. There we go. I'm not even saying it right. I didn't know how to really know the difference between like federal agents and cops and stuff like that. Because I'd never been arrested in my life, you know. I was a first offender. And so, anyways, I just tell him, hey, dude, these are all cops. And he's like, oh, you're just paranoid. And I said, check this out. Roll up a blunt right now, and I guarantee none of these dudes will smoke with us, right? So is like, yeah, let's do it. And he's like thinking that, he's going to win what it is that I'm bringing to his attention. So anyhow, we go to eventually the boat, and the boat where it points up to the front like this. Okay, so at that point I'm sitting there and I'm in the middle, and all these dudes are horseshoed around me. All fucking FBI agents like this, aka pieces of shit. Anyhow, so I'm fucking smoking with me and this dude, and I go to one dude, you want to smoke? No. You want to smoke? No. You want to smoke? Oh, no. No? No. Get the fuck out of here. So when will you ever meet cartel people that are at a party, they're not smoking, they're not doing blow, none of them have their regular girlfriends with them. Like nobody rolled up to me and said, hey, this is my wife, this is my girlfriend. It's just the weirdest shit, right? So I knew something was fucking super, super trippy about this whole thing. Like it just didn't add up, and I'm always conscious about my surroundings. I used to teach myself what kind of cars these people drive. What do they look like? What are they doing? Are there cars out in front of this house? Well, oftentimes before I go places, I drive around the block a few times before I actually park. Note to all you dope dealers, you don't ever just roll up to your spot and fucking do your thing, dude. Drive around. It's no big deal, bro. Burn some gas. You can see a dude tucked down in his car and then that's time for you to fucking say, hey, I'll meet you somewhere else, or I'll come by tomorrow. So I was really aware of these sort of things. So anyhow, this party ends and we go jump in the limousine. It's the five of us, the 4 black dudes, and the one dude that I remember now I was throwing peanuts at. I hit him up, and in the car that night on the way after the party, he's like, yeah, that girl I was talking to, she's a madam, and all of those girls are paid to be there. They're all like, and I was like, duh, you fucking dumb shit. Those girls were hired for the party because that shit was fake. The whole party was fake, dude. That shit was, and so it just kind of reinforced the fact that there was escorts there, and nobody had their chick, their girlfriend, and then the chicks just didn't even seem right. And it just seemed like, dude. Also, if you chicks are escorts or on your fucking OnlyFans, why wouldn't you, if they told you in advance, hey, this is what's going on and this is the target, man, the decent thing you should have done is come and told me. You know what I mean? If any of those girls on that boat knew that, how dare you? Anyways, so then the following day, I was in my hotel and I had one of my bros come out from, he was living in, shout out to Gardena, California. And I was like, hey, come party with me in Miami. So he was like, hell yeah, I'm coming out. So he comes out. He's hanging out in my hotel room, and I was like, let's go to the pool. It's actually pretty early. These dudes, the people I originally with, the 4 other black dudes, one of them that brought me to the party starts calling me, I don't know, relatively early to hangover time, right? Or party time in Miami. He's calling me saying, man, I wish I knew the FBI agent's name. It was something with an E, right? So anyways, he's saying that the dude's downstairs. Let's come and meet. Come meet. And he wants to talk to you. Let's get a bite to eat in the restaurant. And I said, no. You talk to him and tell me whatever, he wants to, whatever you guys want to do. You talk to him. I don't want to talk to him. So anyhow, they keep calling, and he's like, dude, just come down. I keep telling him, no, I'm not coming down. And he's telling me he has to get on an airplane. He only has a little bit of time. Come down. And I was like, no. And so anyways, I went to the pool with my boy, and we're already drinking and smoking. So the pool has a bar. So I'm over there sipping on some beer, hanging out. And At this time, the guy calls me, and I'm really under the impression that the dude they wanted me to meet probably already left, because they kept saying, oh, he has to catch an airplane. He has to catch an airplane, right? So as he wants to catch an airplane, anyway, I can't get to this chick. He wants to catch the airplane. I'm thinking he probably left, right? So anyways, my friend's like, where are you? And I'm like, I'm at the pool. So unbeknownst to me, here comes fucking dumb fuck with an FBI agent, and the guy comes walking over, the FBI guy, and he's like, hey, you wanted to talk to me? I'm thinking to myself in my head, like, fuck no, you know? So then I was like, yeah, sure, what's going on, you know? And I actually have, you know, later on, you know, maybe I'll get with like one of my video guys and maybe we can edit some. But I actually, while I'm fighting my case, the government gave me all of these compact discs, right? And so this particular conversation at the swimming pool, I actually have it from FBI government evidence. I would like to use it on other future things like TV shows and stuff like that, or movie and shit, you know? So anyways, this dude fucking is wearing a body wire the whole time. He's like, yeah, let's go sit over here. So he proceeds to act like he's some a money launderer, you know? And he's like saying, oh yeah, but you know, nothing under 200,000 I couldn't do. And then he starts to explain, you know, how he does it. And he doesn't even really make sense at certain points. And he was like, yeah, I take the cash and then I bounce it off this account, bounce it off that account, go to Japan here, and then I give you back an ATM card, tax-free, with all of your money in it. And I was like, oh, yeah, okay. And then I said, okay, well, you know, and I really didn't want to talk to the guy. I was, you know, buzzed, but it still didn't equate in my head at that moment in time that maybe he's wearing a wire, you know? Like, I don't know, but they just caught me slipping. So I was like, okay, well, what if I have money in Detroit, you know, a couple 100,000? Who's going to go pick it up? And he's like, I would go pick it up. And I was like, so how do you get it to where it needs to go? He's like, oh, I just go on a, you know, commercial airplane. And I was like, wait, stop. Even myself, I have my own airplanes, right? Why would I need like some fucking dude to go with hundreds of thousands of dollars on like a Delta flight? Like, this makes no damn sense. And I asked him about that. And he's like, oh, I get a letter and it says that I'm such and such and I'm approved and they can't do anything. It's what the people do is when you get caught with money, oftentimes you don't really even get arrested. They just confiscate the money and it's over. You're fucked. So anyways, and then I said, like, thinking like this dude's portraying to be some big time guy, right? And I thought, you know, why would you do that yourself? I even said, I was like, don't you have people to do that for you? Like, you're honestly going to go and do that yourself? And he was like, oh yeah, you know, well, you know, I could get somebody. So I just could tell it was like fucking amateur hour with this clown. And so, I fucked up and I was like, oh yeah, you know, I don't need your service. Right. And I started explaining to him how I did my own thing. And of course, eventually, through, you know, the whole investigation, that came back to, you know, kind of bite me in the foot, because everything that I was basically trying to get the dude to shut up. And I was like, no, I'm good. I don't need your service, but this is how I do it, you know? And I explained to him, and sure enough, they took that and ran with it. And even though it was just some bullshit that I was just basically trying to end the conversation with this dude. So that's how it kind of all went down. I don't know. So it's very, very similar to, maybe you guys have seen the movie Donnie Brasco with Johnny Depp. In the movie, Johnny Depp is an actual piece of shit FBI agent. So in that video, or that movie, I'm sorry, he infiltrates the mob. And while he's in there, I think he befriends Al Pacino, and they refer to him as Lefty. And in that movie, Johnny Depp goes to the feds and he asks them, says, I need a boat, because we're doing some deals, blah, blah, blah. So then the FBI provides them with a boat. Same shit. All the mob dudes get on the boat. It's a total setup. So, I don't know what else I could add to the story. I think that about sums it up. You know, I hope you guys like enjoy these videos. If you can catch me on, I respond a lot to my messages on the gram. And if you want to leave me comments, I'll also respond. You know, let me know how you like this video, and if you want to see more or hear more videos like this, if you want to see me doing some art, whatever, bro. You know, I got it. So I'm gonna work on trying to provide you guys with some more content. In the meantime, suck it easy.